In this tutorial, you are going to learn how to properly unwrap a pipe. Now, if I just use the default unwrapper that Blender uses, I get this nasty seam here in the center. I've got a UV seam running down there, and once I've unwrapped the pipe, I've got all these bendy lines. There is no internal method in Blender to rectify all these, but there's a free add-on that we can use. So use a search engine of your choice and search for Blender TexTools. You will find a link to GitHub. Then on the right side, click on the latest version of TexTools. Scroll down a bit and click on the zip folder and download it. You can then drag and drop the zip folder from your downloads folder into Blender. This allows you to install the add-on. The add-on is now installed and enabled. And now when you're in edit mode, you can head over back to your UV editor, click on UV, and there's a new option down here called Rectify. Now all UVs have been straightened, but in object mode you can see that there's still a seam in the middle here. And this seam we are going to resolve now. First I'm going to select all my UVs and scale everything down a bit. Now I want to align these in the lower left corner of my UV screen. I could try doing this manually, but it's much easier if you go to UV and then click on Constrain to Image Bounds. Now you can move all your UVs to the lower left and they will snap into the corner. The seam we can see here is caused by two UV islands not matching up. And these islands are located here and here. So what we have to do is to match this edge and this edge at the lower bounds and the upper bounds of our UVs. So before I can do this, I have to change the way Blender scales by changing my pivot mode. I can change my pivot mode by pressing the period key, which opens a small menu, and here you're going to select 2D cursor. Now when you press S to scale, you can scale up your UVs to the very top. Now these two edges match perfectly, and if I head back to object mode here, you can see that there's no longer a seam. If you want to change the scale of your UVs, first you have to disable Constrain to Image Bounds again, because otherwise you can't scale it above this limit here. When you now scale your UVs, you have to make sure that you always scale in whole numbers. So not like this or like this, but for example by entering 2. Because then your UVs will match up and you won't have any seams.